So we'll begin by slicing open the box, and dating back to last year's 2012 iMac redesign, they also updated the box for the better as well. So now you just simply push it open, no more flipping it upside down, throwing the shake and bake at it. It is much easier to open up. Jumping over to the accessories, first up is the Apple wireless keyboard, which connects via Bluetooth. Do note though that you have the option to opt for a wired keyboard with a number pad if you happen to configure your order online. Following that, we have the Apple Magic Mouse, which also connects through Bluetooth. This features multi-touch gesture capability, and in terms of a stock mouse that comes with the computer, it is definitely a nice touch. We'll follow up by getting rid of some styrofoam, proceeding to take the iMac out of the box, and setting this guy up. So again, this is a 21.5-inch LED backlit IPS display featuring a resolution of 1920 by 1080p, and if you've never seen an iMac display in person, they are absolutely beautiful. So being the base model, this is going to start out at $1299 US. That's going to get you a 2.7 GHz quad-core i5 CPU, but you can configure this all the way up to a 3.1 GHz quad-core i7 CPU, and these are all based off Intel's 4th generation Haswell processors. Now, as far as memory, it does come standard with 8 gigs of RAM, which honestly is enough for most everyday applications like photo editing, video editing, but if you're looking to do heavier things like Adobe After Effects, Premiere, Final Cut Pro 10, definitely bump that up to 16 gigabytes because unlike the 27-inch model, you cannot upgrade the RAM after the fact on this one. Now, in terms of the hard drive, you're getting 1 terabyte of storage, but it is at 5400 RPM speed, so if you look at the speed test, we're getting around 95 to 100 megabytes per second, which isn't bad by any means. But if you were looking to do one upgrade towards the iMac, I would heavily consider going towards a Fusion drive because at the bare minimum, you're looking to triple, possibly quadruple your speeds. And that's going to help with boot times, loading applications, and overall, just a better user experience. And those are based off my test for last year's Fusion drive. The new ones are supposed to be even faster. So if you want a little more info and a demo on that, I will have that linked down below. Now, something that piqued my interest and got me really curious about the baseline 21.5-inch model is the fact that Apple opted to go with solely Intel Iris Pro graphics and not a dedicated GPU. Now, granted, the Iris Pro is Intel's cream of the crop in terms of integrated graphics, but I am extremely curious to see how that stacks up against a dedicated GPU, regardless of how low-end it was. Flipping over to the back, we see the headphone jack, SDXC card slot. There are 4 USB 3.0 ports, 2 Thunderbolt ports, and a Gig Ethernet port. There are also stereo speakers, Bluetooth 4.0, and we now see 802.11ac Wi-Fi on these new iMacs. Now, aesthetically, these iMacs look exactly the same as last year's 2012 redesign. They're still thin as hell, but all the changes happened under the hood. Now, obviously that is important, and speed and performance are one of the reasons why you would upgrade, so I did get some initial benchmarks. So running Geekbench 3, we saw a single core score of 3,143 and a multi-core score of 10,193. Now, Geekbench 3 is relatively new, so I did not have it when I was testing out last year's iMac, but in order to give you guys some sort of reference and comparison, I went back and looked at that Geekbench 2 score, and that was about 9,100, and I went ahead and downloaded Geekbench 2 on the 2013 iMac, and that pumped out a score of about 10,100. So that about wraps up this unboxing and demo. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did and you are feeling like being awesome, make sure to go TLD style on that like button. If you guys have any questions on the iMac or things you want to see in the full review, definitely drop me a line down below or hit me up on Twitter, Facebook. Those are all linked below as well. And definitely feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you don't miss out on the full review. And lastly, before I hop out of here,